If you like growing food, then you might like eating food. And if you like eating food, then you might like cooking food. Well, go check out the first season of Backyard Kitchen, available on Tubi for free. Available on all smart TVs and online. That's TUBI, all free, first season of Backyard Kitchen. Here's a new word for you. You ready? Free recycling. Free recycling. I'm not going to say it again because it's definitely going to twist my tongue. But we're going to talk about saving money by free recycling right here on the Backyard Gardens podcast.
To have a good harvest, one must plant good seeds and must also use the right kind of fertilizer. The carrots have grown large and firm. How good they will taste.
Welcome to the Backyard Gardens podcast, where we talk about all things gardening. We are your hosts, Ben in Batavia, and you can find me gardening in the country.
And you'll find me gardening in the city. Get ready as we dig deep into this
wonderful world of gardening, where we learn to grow and grow for change. Ooh, that bell had some serious hang time. Somebody cleaned the bell.
It's
Thanks,
like Michael Jordan back in the day, tongue out, coming from, the free throw line. Yeah.
Now you're aging yourself, but that's okay.
That's okay. I mean, you know what, though? I have my spring hair color, so you can't see those grays as much.
Oh, good. Good for you. I don't know what that's like. So before we tell you about free recycling, I do want to tell you about one thing.
Hey, is it something that you can also do for free?
I don't know.
I mean, I think that they can probably watch. I know they can watch the Backyard Kitchen on Tubi. And
tell us
if you're in Canada.
If you're in Canada, that means we're international.
Yeah, season 1, baby.
Season one, editing season 2 now, and also patron. Become a patron down below. It'll help the show, and you'll get 2 extra episodes a month. And one of them we talked about saving money on this one. So, thank you. All right, free recycling. Do you free cycle?
I don't know. Tell me what free cycling is.
Do you recycle?
I do recycle.
So free cycling is basically the same thing. It's stupid. You just, like, if you see something that you can use, you grab it and take it,
Oh, yeah.
Like, are you too ashamed of yourself to grab something off the side of the road and put it in your car and take it home?
This is my time to shine. I don't walk in alleys, it's just a thing I don't do. However,
unless you see a shovel in an alley, then you'll walk down it.
Well, shoot, I'll get out my car and walk to it. So I drive down alleyways as a priority now. I have no shame in loading something in my trunk. I have no shame if someone's outside asking if I can have it. I have no shame. So, yeah.
I mean, if it's on the curb, it's free game, But there's a lot of things that we can get for our gardens. And we're just going to talk about gardens in specific here, because I know there's all kinds of stuff. But there's stuff that you can gain and get. Like, there's the young lady that lives down the road from me. She's actually going to be helping on season 3 of the Backyard Kitchen. But we'll see something on the side of the road, and it's literally a mad dash to see who can get there first. We're like running to it, and I get out, and she's like, well, you want this? I'm like, no, I'll take that, but if you can't have this, if you can have that. And it's like a back and forth. But this stuff is useful, right?
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of this. My only caveat is recognize that you'll need space to store it if you're not ready to use it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, but I have things stacked up in every place you can imagine. There's some things that I can see as being useful. And again, I may not have a way to use it immediately. But there's nothing better than, like, the idea hits you and you go back and you find that material or that thing, that you've stored in the corner of your shed or your garage, and you're able to reuse it. Now, again, everything isn't quality, but there's a switch that goes off in my head when I see something. I start calculating, I wonder if I could, and especially if it's on the side of the road. Worse yet, you're just going to throw it away at your home once you get there, like if you figure out you can't use it.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is it's good for a number of reasons. So one, it's saving money, but 2, I mean, it's like people I went through a period where we were decluttering our lives, and so we went hard. And I mean, we went hard. And it was like, you know what? I don't even care. I just want it out of here. Doesn't matter. I mean, we gave away so much stuff, thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff. We gave away wedding gifts, clothes, tools, just all kinds of stuff. We just wanted it gone.
Yeah.
And you're going to find people in that mode that just want to get the stuff out of there. And so we take advantage of that. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I definitely wouldn't pick up something that's like falling apart and being like, well, I'll put this on my list. But you can take something like that and actually do something useful with it. You're saving yourself money, but you're also saving from the manufacturing processes and all kinds of things. And this fits in directly with our sustainable series.
Yeah. And sometimes the deciding if you're going to use a thing and if it really has a place in your garden, what better way to do that than for doing it for free versus buying something and saying this doesn't quite fit my aesthetic, this doesn't quite fit the design or whatever have you. And, I'm going to go ahead and argue that some of the things that are being made, a lot of the things that are being made now are pretty crappy quality-wise versus things that may be older. There are two things that I've given away that I have had second thoughts about. One really strongly. So I was again trying to clear out some space to store some of the crap that I'm finding on the road. And but I love them. I gave my uncle like just some lumber pieces. This is like in 2019.
Yeah.
That's a gold mine now, right?
Yeah.
Now he used it, so it's fine. But I'm just thinking now, like, if I would have held on one more year, I would have realized I could have been on eBay selling it for millions of dollars. Second thing is a set of pavers, probably like 40 pavers or something. Ugh. And it just, they were big pavers, like for a designed walkway. And I'd used them for a bunch of years, but it no longer fit my aesthetic. And they were just in the way. I moved those pavers probably 3 times, having them stacked up.
But see, now you went and bought those pavers originally, right?
Yeah, I bought those pavers originally, picked them out, loaded them in multiple trips in my little Taurus. I used to have a little Taurus in the trunk, weighed down the trunk, screwed the shocks, But again, they had run their course in my garden. And I kind of have a way I can think about using them now. This is a few years later, but I'm okay with them not being in my space anymore.
Well, the one thing too to think about is when you go to buy something, this is a weird psychology thing. When you go to buy it, and then you're like, I'm done with it. And then you move on and you do what you did, or like I did, you just give it away. But when you acquire those 40 pavers for free, all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to make this work in my garden. I'm going to make this work and I'm going to keep it. And every time you step on it and your friend says, like, I got them 40 pavers for free, dog. They're going to be like, damn, where'd you get this for free? Be like, yep. But they don't even match, but it's artistic. Remember that.
Bowling.
It's artistic.
Yeah. I saw a listener and you shared their garden. They created basically containers using milk crates. So they put some material inside the milk crate and they've been planting in there. Oh yeah. And it just warms my heart. So I have a collection of milk crates. And I've not purchased not a single one. It has come from me I don't even know if you can call it scavenging again, just driving past intersections and alleys and collecting them over the course of like 1 year. Like it wasn't like, I'm not still collecting them. So for those, I use milk crates as kind of my little toolkit for all of the crap that I have in my garden that's kind of small that I'm going to use. Staple guns, staples, nails, my drill. Like I put all that crap in the milk crate. I clearly, if you ever seen a video of me in my garden working, I'm sitting on a milk crate, and so it's probably the best thing that I've picked up free cycled that it's easy to store because I can just stack them up and stuff them in a corner. But think about it. I mean, there are a million, I'm calling it, ways to be able to find something that someone's giving away, something that's, put out for trash that you can use in your garden. I'm a huge fan of using buckets for transporting things back and forth.
And they went up in price.
Collecting water, mixing soil, mixing compost. I'll carry a bucket of compost around as I'm planting this year. Actually drilling holes and planting vegetables and things in them. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. It takes a few asks. Like you have to go to a few different stores around my way, but I don't know, maybe 6 out of 10. If I've gone to 10, 6 of them will give you buckets for free. The other 4, maybe not so much. But again, this is a way that you're using some material that would go back to, who knows where. So.
Well, you do know that taking milk crates is illegal, right?
I didn't say I took milk crates.
So I did. I mean, I'm just going to be straight up, whatever. I'll give them back. I didn't know this, but then I was looking up because I was like, man, where can I get some milk crates? And I was like, they're always out by the gas station. And then I looked it up afterwards for some reason. And they were like, yeah, you can't take those because the milk guy comes and gets them. Oh, got it. Yeah. But, it is what it is. I feel like it's an unspoken rule because I've always seen milk crates in everybody's house.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like an alley fine for me, but they should have found their way back to kind of whoever the company is they came from. I may or may not have some small little kind of, they're not milk crates, but they're still kind of stackable. And it may or may not have a popular cola brand name on them, so there's that. But
those are everywhere too. I mean, it's crazy, but they're so useful and you can use them for so many things. And lumber is another thing. Pallets, you can just go grab pallets. I mean, you can even go to like your home improvement stores and I ask them and they're like, just don't, there's a certain color. And they're like, just don't grab the blue ones or whatever it was. Those are the ones that we keep or something. I was like, okay. And so you get them, and the wood does rot out a lot of times, but still it lasts, it's free. And so you'll get a couple years out of it. It's getting repurposed, whatever.
So quick pallet story this season. So again, I'm going to collect things and then I'll get to it this season, next season, season after that. So I have some ideas about what I want to do with a couple of pallets. And I had one that had a piece of wood missing. And so I needed it like a half of a piece of wood missing. So I was going to pull up the other. So I stood on the pallet. And then it was like crack, crack. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, come on. Like, really? Yep. Yeah, I took it personal. Like, I felt like it was an attack on, can I still claim pandemic weight? I'm claiming it, so anywho.
But they're weak. It's known to be weak wood. I mean, but every once, like I found one that was made out of cedar. Yeah, made out of cedar. So there's
That's
that.
Impressive, yeah.
So you do find stuff like that. But I mean, I did a project. When I put in my greenhouse, I used 6x6s or 4x4s, one or the other. I think it's 6x6 for the base. And I had cut a piece off. Yeah. And I was like, well, I don't want to throw this out. So I use it for a stair on my garden, on my shed. It's a stair. It's all these different things that you can add in that, in my opinion, too, not only does it save you money, it also saves the environment and the planet and everything, but it also gives your garden some character.
Yeah,
and it tells a story about yourself.
I no longer cry when I hit bricks when I'm digging into my garden. Like, there have been times I've been near tears. It's like, when will this ever end? I have pulled out like landscape size, like stones, and I have, if you ever get a close up of my bird bath and my front yard flower bed, basically there's stones and bricks around it and it looks decorative and eclectic. They're all that I've pulled out of my yard. Another quick way, you see this all the time with people that use covers, whether it's frost protection or some other covers on their garden, plastic, whatever have you. Sometimes see them secure them with bricks. Don't go out and buy those bricks. Come into my yard and dig them up. No.
I got a place on the waterway here where I go and you can go to an island and it's full of bricks, and I'll go there and I grab a handful of bricks, and if I ever need more, I go back to that island and I get more bricks. So I mean, it's the same thing. Like, don't buy that stuff. You know what I mean? Just wait. Just be patient. You're gonna find it, and keep an eye out. Like, trash day comes, Yeah. Trash day comes after the new year, Trash day comes in the spring, You know what I mean? It's like, it's how it is. People getting the spring cleanings and all that stuff. People are moving, Apartment moves are big in the spring here and in a lot of places, And people just don't want to carry it, and I don't blame them. Yeah, or pay to have someone move it from one space to another, Like, I'm currently hunting I'm looking for somebody that's giving away an old wheelbarrow that's falling apart because I want to plant in it in my garden. And So that's hard to come by because every time one comes up, but you can look on like Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace in the free section. There's all kinds of stuff. And half the time you go there and you go to buy some kind of like farming or gardening equipment and they're like, hey, you want this, you want this, you want this. And they'll just give you the stuff. Yeah. They just don't want it anymore.
As I harden things off and, I'm planting in all kinds of things indoors and I basically need something to transport that stuff off. I use some of my seed trays, but I am always going to be in a store. When I don't know if it's this episode or the previous one when I mentioned I was in Lowe's and I saw something that was priced differently, yada, yada, yada. So I had a free tray, like seedling tray, and I had the item I was going to buy and I put them both back because I wanted to go to a different store. And I'm like, when I got to the car and like had pulled off, got to the store, I'm like, gosh, I left my free seedling tray there, right? And so things like I have a bunch of them, if you go and you buy a flat of seeds, don't put them all in your little cart, take the whole thing with you,
Yeah.
Open your mouth and ask, if you think you have a use for it, a lot of times, a lot of places that associate that's around will give it to you.
Yeah.
Last thing, which you've done before, especially the bigger pots, like when you have like trees or bushes or fruit trees and things of that nature, they come in larger pots, like, 2-gallon or more. Stack those things, save them, stack them up, and then you can find a use for them at some point later.
So I did that, and I have a broccoli plant in one, a tomato plant in another, with 3 other lettuces in there. I have peppers in another one. I have 2 chamomiles in one. Didn't cost me a damn thing.
Yep.
I mean, between that, the compost I made, and the little bit of soil, I think the whole potting situation and the seeds that I started cost me, each pot probably cost me $1. And they're big enough to grow for, full-blown plants in.
Yeah, that's really key as well. They're sizable. And in some cases, it may not be the prettiest pot, but there are all kinds of ways of using decorative pots. I do this all the time. I have a decorative pot and then I slide another container inside of that.
Of course.
So.
It is what it is. Do it.
Yeah. Do it now.
Do it now. Yeah. I mean, there's all these different ways to save money. It's crazy. I mean, if you go back throughout this entire little mini series that we've done, I mean, everywhere from growing the plant to building on it to buying anything you need for your garden to, taking care of your tools and stuff like that. All that stuff, it all adds up.
Yeah.
And each year, I mean, it's probably amazing how much money people waste. And gardening is a huge industry. And if people were more, and when I say people, I mean myself as well, so don't trip in the comment section or anything. But if people were more responsible with their stuff and their actions, the gardening industry would probably be more, I would say, a more even keeled. Like you wouldn't, like for instance, you wouldn't have seedlings for $9 maybe, because, people won't be selling that stuff because, I mean, if you didn't have to buy a shovel every couple years because you left it outside and it lasted you 10, 15 years, or if you were, instead of buying all this wood, my hack too, what I've been doing for my gardens, if I need anything treated, I use fence slats, treated fence slats. They're $248 for a 6-foot board versus anything. And I don't need anything for structure. It's just literally, as a flat board or something, you can do something like that. But once you learn how to do these things, you're saving money all the way around. I mean, you're always going to be spending some money, but if you sit back and look, a 2x4 costs $10 right now.
It's craziness.
Or I can get a fence slat for $248.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I think don't leave out bartering. Right, trading. I talked about this earlier in the year. I have these 3, I think it's crimson bushes. I always forget the name of them. And they add structure. They're interesting. I won't go into the whole story anyway. I'm going to dig them up and give them to my neighbor. And so I really wanted to leave them in place until I knew I can rehome them. And again, I'm not necessarily directly benefiting from them because I'm giving them away, but it's also spreading that love and joy. And it's kind of a nod because she was out there with her new snowblower all this past winter, clearing my space. So, wink, wink, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is you can do that in many ways. It's just like growing a vegetable seedling. You can do the same thing. You can give give somebody something and you'll get something in return, and it's a little bit cheaper than giving a whole bush. I will say that, but it's very generous of you.
Yeah, very
Wish
generous of me.
neighbor.
No, it's you could absolutely have them, but I have big plans for those 3 big spaces. I know it's going to dig up quite a bit. I with a friend and a garden friend, I gave them. It was a 6-pack of cabbage that I bought. I gave them 3 of them because I didn't feel like I needed 6 red cabbage in my garden. And this wasn't in an attempt to trade, but I'm also going to get sweet potato slips from them, which theirs have done so well. Mine, not so much this year. So
interesting. I like it. Look at Batavia. She's bartering her face off.
I'm making it happen, man.
Hey, man, look, that's part of it. Use some of these things to barter and get free stuff. I like the way we kind of change the topic all of a sudden.
Yeah, I realized it, but I was already in it.
It's all good. It's all good. But, I mean, seriously, don't be ashamed to grab stuff off the side of the road. I grabbed a full terracotta pot set that fit on my backyard and my back porch. Every single pot for free. 8 pots. There it is. So, everybody... The mic has been dropped. Be sustainable. Check out the series. Check out all of the series we've done this year and this one. Hook us up. Become a patron if you'd like to support the show. 2 extra episodes a month. And save some money. I mean, damn. Don't sleep on this stuff, all right? Tell them something good.
See ya.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. Please follow us on YouTube at Backyard Gardens TV.
Instagram at Backyard Gardens TV. Over on our website, backyardgardenstv.com. And then we have Patreon at Backyard Gardens.
And don't forget to check out our links below to help the show. Thank you so much for joining us as we learn to grow and grow for change. Cut.
Now you know why people feel like celebrating at harvest time.
All over the world, people have feasting and good times when the crops have been gathered in.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for checking out the Backyard Gardens podcast.
If you like what we're doing and you want to continue to support the podcast, head over to our Patreon page to sign up.
You can also make a one-time donation using PayPal. Both of these links are in the description.
With your support, we can continue growing and helping others in their gardens. See ya.
If you guys want some Backyard Gardens gear,
go to the link below and check out our t-shirts, mugs, pint glasses, and other gear.
All purchases go towards helping to support the show, so thank you so much in advance, and we hope you enjoy. We want everybody to have a garden, and we're going to give you a chance to win free seeds every month.
Head over to backyardgardenstv.com and enter your email address to be entered in all of our giveaways.
Good luck.
We want you to be a part of our gardening community. DM us a picture of your garden at Backyard Gardens TV on Instagram, and we will share it with our listeners.